Welcome to the program, Global Weekly News, serial number 84. First, we are going to see International Court of Justice on Israel's genocide. South Africa filed a case in the International Court of Justice against Israel's genocide of Palestinians in Gaza. There are 17 judges in the court, including one each from Israel and South Africa. After the end of World War II, United Nations General Assembly adopted the first Convention on Human Rights, which is Prevention of Genocide Convention in 1948. South Africa's case is that Israel violated this 1948 Convention on Genocide. Israel argued that International Court of Justice has no jurisdiction to hear the case and requested the case to be dismissed. In a ruling issued on January 26, the court rejected Israel's argument on jurisdiction. In the court's view, at least some of the acts and omissions alleged by South Africa have been committed by Israel in Gaza appear to be capable of falling within the provisions of the Convention on Genocide. The ICJ's order, International Court of Justice order, states the court also recognized that the Palestinians in Gaza formed a substantial part of the Palestinian people as a protected group under Article 2 of the Convention, which defines genocide as acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial or religious group. The court notes that the military operation being conducted by Israel following the attack of 7th October 2023 has resulted in a large number of deaths and injuries, as well as massive destruction of homes, forcible displacement of the vast majority of the population, and extensive damage to civilian infrastructure. The statement by the United Nations humanitarian chief Martin Griffiths, who had stated on January 5 that Gaza had become a place of death and despair, and that its people were witnessing daily threats to their very existence, was cited in the court by a judge. The same judge also quoted statements from the World Health Organization as well as the head of the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, Philippe Lazzarini, who stated on January 13 that the clock is ticking fast towards famine. The court recognized the right of the Palestinian people to be protected from acts of genocide. Importantly, the International Court of Justice took note of the statements made by senior Israeli officials as evidence of an intent to commit genocide. Israeli Defense Minister declared the complete siege of Gaza. He referred to Palestinians as human animals and he called on to eliminate everything. Israel President remarked that there is an entire nation out there that is responsible and we will fight until we break their backbone. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that the war would take many more long months. Palestinians do not have access to food, water, electricity, medicines or heating, as well as indications that maternal and newborn death rates are expected to increase. The court stated that the catastrophic humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip is at serious risk of deteriorating further before the court renders its final judgment. The court concluded on immediate provisional measures. The first provisional measure sought by South Africa was an immediate suspension of Israel's military operations in and against Gaza. On January 25, Hamas had also stated that it would abide by a ceasefire if it was ordered by the International Court of Justice as well as as long as Israel did the same. The International Court of Justice, in its order, made no mention of this request. However, the court indicated a series of provisional measures which are binding in effect and place international legal obligations to Israel. First, by 15 votes to 2, Israel must take all measures within its powers to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of the convention. These acts include killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm, and C. deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D. imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. The court also ordered that Israel shall take immediate and effective measures to ensure the provision of urgently needed basic services and humanitarian assistance to address the adverse conditions of life in Gaza. Israel has to submit a report to the International Court of Justice on all the measures taken to give effect to this order within 1 month as from the date of the order. The International Court of Justice will now notify the UN Security Council of the provisional measures ordered. Given that the court lacks an enforcement mechanism, it is not having the power to enforce this order. Questions remain on how these measures will be operationalized. Prime Minister Netanyahu responded to the court ruling by calling the charge of genocide as false and outrageous, adding that Israel would continue to defend itself against Hamas. Senior Hamas officials told that the ruling was an important development that contributes to isolating the occupation and exposing Israel's crimes in Gaza. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry stated that governments must ensure that they are not complicit, that is, they are not helpful in this genocide. This is now a binding legal obligation. South Africa government noted that third states are now on notice of the existence of a serious risk of genocide against the people of Palestine in Gaza. They must therefore also act independently and immediately to prevent genocide by Israel and to ensure that they are not themselves in violations of the Genocide Convention, including by aiding or assisting in the commission of genocide. It further warned that the veto power wielded by individual states in the Security Council cannot be permitted to thwart to prevent international justice. Comrade, second, we are going to see in America, a case has been filed against George Biden on genocide. Biden charged with genocide in US federal court. Palestinian human rights organizations, together with the Palestinians in Gaza and in the United States, have filed a case against President Joe Biden and Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin for complicity in the ongoing genocide in Gaza. On January 26, a federal US court heard arguments in the case Defense for Children International, Palestine versus Biden, which seeks an emergency court order to halt US support for Israel's war on Gaza, prohibiting the transfer of weapons and unconditional support to the Zionist state. The case was filed by the petitioners on behalf of the case was filed on behalf of the petitioners by the Center for Constitutional Rights with the law company of Van der Hout. The counsel for the petitioners argued that the court deliver emergency verdict to prevent US support to Israel, to stop arms supply to Israel, and to stop giving unconditional support to the Zionist state. Petitioners in the case include human rights organizations, Defense for Children International Palestine, and another human rights organization, Al-Haq, based in West Bank, Ramallah town. Also included are the Palestinians still living in Gaza who have lost their family members due to Israel's attacks. Experts for the petitioners also submitted amicus briefs and declarations in the case, including Joseph Paul, former high-ranking US State Department official who resigned in protest against US military aid to Israel, as well as William Sabas, global expert on genocide and leading organization in the Palestine Solidarity Movement. Dr. Barry Trachtenberg, a genocide and Holocaust scholar, also testified, saying, unlike past genocides, which were adjudicated long after they had concluded, we have an opportunity to halt this one in its tracks. Palestinians have suffered far too much and far too long. Third comrade, in Pakistan also, Imran Khan sentenced to 10 years. That we will see now. A special court was formed in August 2023 under the Official Secrets Act to hear the cipher case. On August 9, 2023, US-based news outlet The Intercept published an article containing the contents of the cipher, that is, diplomatic cable, sent by Pakistan's former ambassador to the United States to government of Pakistan. The document detailed a March 2022 meeting between diplomat of the Pakistan and US State Department officials, during which Imran Khan's stand on the war in Ukraine was discussed. Imran Khan was elected as Prime Minister in 2018. Assistant US Secretary of State Donald Lu sent a cable to former Pakistan Military Chief General, who had the power to topple the government. US Secretary was concerned about why Pakistan took an aggressively neutral position on Ukraine war. Imran Khan was removed from power after losing a no-confidence vote in Parliament in April 2022. Imran Khan was convicted under selling of foreign gifts case and sentenced to 3 years in prison. Imran Khan had over 150 legal cases registered against him since April 2022. The special court heard the case that Imran Khan waived the secret cable copy in a public rally. The special court had sentenced on January 30 former Prime Minister Imran Khan and former Foreign Minister Shah Mohammad Qureshi to 10 years in prison. Khan has maintained that the cable contained proof of a conspiracy to oust him from office involving Pakistan's powerful military and the US. The verdict comes just days before Pakistan is set to hold general elections on February 8. Both are barred from holding public office for a period of 5 years. Imran Khan's party, PTI, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf Party, and its supporters have faced a crackdown by state forces, with the party stripped of its electoral symbol, that is cricket bat, ahead of the polls. Cricket bat is the electoral symbol of PTI, and now that has been banned. The media had also been prevented from covering the proceedings in the cipher case. PTI, that is the party, Imran Khan's political party, has stated that it will file an appeal in the High Court. Comrades, next we are going to Africa. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. 15 American countries are members of ECOWAS, Economic Community of West African States. Sahel is the region between the semi-arid Sahara Desert and Savannah in North Central Africa. Senegal, Gambia, Mauritania, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and Nigeria are the 10 countries in the Sahel region. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, in a televised statement on January 28, declared that they are withdrawing from the ECOWAS and forming a separate Sahel States Alliance. They signed a mutual defense pact in September 23. These three countries allege that ECOWAS is acting as agents of French imperialism. Next, we are going to Great Britain. Anti-strike law in Great Britain. The Conservative Party government under Prime Minister Rishi Sunak introduced the controversial Minimum Service Level Bill in the Parliament on 10th January 2023, which enables the state and private employers to force workers to ensure minimum service during trade union strikes across 8 key sectors, including health, ambulance, fire and rescue, security, education and transport. The bill empowered the bosses to sack the workers, dismiss the workers who refuse to provide a minimum level of service during walkouts across key sectors, as well as file cases against the trade unions in court, both to prevent strikes and claim damages. Despite fierce protests from various and progressive sections, the government forced the legislation through Parliament and it got the royal assent on 20th July 2023. The legislation partially came into effect in some of the key sectors in the United Kingdom on 8th December 2023. In December, that is 2023, at a special conference of the TUC, Trade Union Congress, labour movements resolved to fight and defeat the notorious anti-strike law. On January 27, thousands of trade unionists marched in Cheltenham in Gloucestershire, protesting the British government's anti-strike law. The call for Protect the Right to Strike rally was given by Trade Union Congress and it was attended by activists from Fire Brigades Union, Universities and College Union, Public and Commercial Services Union, the National Union of Rail, Maritime and Transport Workers. The protesting workers also expressed solidarity with the people of Palestine who are reeling under the genocidal war by Israel, which is backed by US, UK and other European countries. Activists from the Communist Party of Britain also participated in the march and expressed solidarity with the workers. British Communist Party stated that a mass movement and campaign for trade union freedom to roll back all of the decades of anti-union legislations the ruling class have put in place in Britain is absolutely necessary. Next, we are going to see Israel's genocidal war on Gaza. Israel's genocidal war on Gaza continued for the 116th day with airstrikes and ground attacks being carried out in various parts of Gaza in the last 24 hours. The death toll in Gaza is approaching 27,000, while the number of those injured has also increased to at least 65,636. Over the last 24 hours, Israeli attacks struck a number of areas throughout Gaza, including Gaza City, the refugee camp, Khan Yunis town, Rafah, among others. Israeli forces have continued to bomb a number of homes and residential neighborhoods in these areas and have continued to attack a number of hospitals and the Palestinian Red Crescent Society headquarters in Khan Yunis. Israeli forces also attacked a United Nations Relief and Works Agency shelter in Gaza City, which they subsequently raided and arrested dozens of Palestinians staying there. The majority of those killed and injured are Palestinian women and children. The Palestinian Authority released footage, a video coverage on January 30 depicting undercover Israeli soldiers dressed as doctors and nurses entering a hospital in Jenin and assassinating 3 young Palestinian men using silenced guns. In the occupied West Bank, Israel forces carried out multiple raids across several cities and villages. Following the decisions by the United States and several other Western countries to suspend funding to United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees, a number of human rights groups and aid agencies issued a joint statement in defense of the agency. The statement, signed by 21 groups, including Action Aid, Oxfam, Save the Children, among others, is titled UNRWA Funding Cuts, a death sentence for Palestinians in Gaza and region. The Western countries stopped funding to United Nations Relief and Works Agency on the allegation of complicity of some of the UNRWA staff in Hamas attack on Israel on 7th October 2023. Lastly, we are going to see conference to colonialize Gaza. While Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has so far denied Israel's plans to occupy Gaza, ministers in his own cabinet have joined thousands of colonial settlers in calls to return to the Strip. On January 28, at least 27 Israeli lawmakers and government officials, including 12 ministers, participated in the Conference for the Victory of Israel held in occupied East Jerusalem. The event, attended by thousands of Zionist colonial settlers, religious gurus and settlement activists, called for the building of Jewish-only settlements in Gaza. At least 7 lakh Israelis live in illegal colonial settlements and outposts across the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. Israeli settlers are often armed and have been responsible for fatal violence against Palestinians. Comrades, thank you for listening. Please, if you like, you can mark like and please share among your friends. If you have any comments, please do comment. Thank you, comrades. See you next week. Las salam.